Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can hear you.
All right. All right. So making you the host. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Daughter, I'm making you the host now, so you can regulate control the numbers of
Okay.
persons. We admit people, and
Okay.
just tell me if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
All right. So I'm sharing my screen now.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. All right. Okay. Let me minimize this. All right, that's good. So, good evening, everyone. In our last class, we did started with the ADX1, where we talked about the index function and the rest. So we could not complete the class due to some technical issues. So let's just quickly do a refresher. Just briefly look at those things we could not talk about, and also introduce us to financial statement forecasting. All right. So let me quickly go to ADX1. So if you see this file, I actually share this file with you guys. So what I expect is, whenever we have a live session like this, always have the file open and follow up with the class. All right. So let me go to ADX1. All right. So there is a link there. I actually did an hyperlink for each of these sheets so that I can easily navigate from one sheet to another. So what we want to take a look at here is count, count A, count if, count ifs, sum if, and sum ifs. Okay, I actually did a practice with this before this class, so I had already put in some formulas here. But what I will just do is I will take them out so that we can learn it all together. Okay, so we look at this function, we'll look at the index and match, and we'll also take a look at we have the last one here, we have sensitivity analysis. All right, so what I will do now is let me start with count. Okay, now count is very straightforward. I believe we all know the syntax is just you just type count. Okay, you type count, then you have, let's say we want to do the count of the numbers of students. So this table actually shows the matric number. It's just a simple table I created. Matric number, students, score, and the subjects. Okay, so I just try to make this as simple as possible because we don't want to waste too much time. Okay, so let's say here we have our count. This is very straightforward. We can just say count. We select all the numbers we want to count. All right. Okay, then we click on OK. Now this is returning 0. All right. You know the reason why it's returning 0 because we are counting characters. All right, we are counting characters. So you cannot use count to count you cannot use count function for characters. All right. Now if we come here and we say count, now this time around we want to count false. All right. So and I click on OK. So it's returning 5. So count cannot work for characters, but count can work for numbers. So you should take note of that very carefully. Now let's also take a look at count A. Okay, some people call this counter. You can call it counter, you can call it count A. So let's take a look at that. Now, the difference between count and count A is used for text. All right, you can use it to count characters. Remember that you actually use count here for this, and Excel returns 0 because Excel did not actually recognize um, these characters here for count. If we say count A, that's counter, then we highlight all this and I close it. See what happens now. So Excel is returning 5. So count A recognizes text while count recognizes number. That's very important. So you should take note of that. All right. Now count A, okay, can also apply. Let's see this here. All right. So you see, the count A works for both text and number. Count works for both numbers and not text. All right. Can I still be heard? All right. So, hello. Can I still be heard?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
Yeah, I can hear you also.
Okay. Please, can we reduce the background noise? No one is making a sound here. Maybe the person is trying to press his keyboard or something. So actually, the sound is distracting the lecture. That is distracting. So please let us, as much as possible, try and reduce any noise. All right. So let's go to the COUNTIF. All right. So we have the COUNTIF. So the COUNTIF is kind of whenever you see if in any function, it makes it logical. It's a logical function because we are combining both count and if. All right. So count if. Now let's now say we want to apply count if. All right. Now we want to apply count if to this table. Now the idea is we have a range. The syntax is already given to us. We have a range here. Now we can say let's select the range of all the scores that we have. So we are picking the range of all the scores that we have, and I'm putting a comma. Now, what is the criteria I'm putting? Now, I want to know the scores that is greater than, for instance, please can we reduce the background noise? There is a sound that is coming up. I think someone.
Please try.
I think everybody should be muted. Everybody should be muted except you.
Mr. Wilson, mute everyone. Mute everyone, Mr. Wilson. Mute everyone.
Let's try as much as possible to reduce the background noise. Let me see if I can actually do that. Okay. All right, please let's try as much as possible to reduce the background noise so that we can all get along with this class. This is we are getting to the interesting part of the lecture. So please let's try as much as possible to be calm. All right. So let's do this. Hold on, please. So let's. All right, please. Okay, so let's proceed.
Hear you.
Oh, can you hear me?
Can you...
Can you hear me now? Can someone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, please let's just try and reduce the noise. Let's just try and reduce the background noise so that we can all move along with this class. All right. So let's discuss the COUNTIF. The COUNTIF is also very simple. So we are making this as simple as possible so we don't waste too much time. So here, okay, I was saying something that you can itemize all this. All right. Then if I want to set a criteria, let's say I'm looking for the number that is greater than, okay, let's say I'm looking for the number that is greater than 10. All right. So what I'm simply going to do is to have a position. So I'm setting a position here and I'm saying greater than.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
We can't hear you.
We can hear you. Continue.
We can't hear you at all. All the things that you've done, we couldn't hear.
Who is that?
Who? They should check their connection very well and their settings.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. I think, hello, listen, everyone, please, if you cannot hear me, kindly check your connection.
check
We
their
can't hear
connection
you.
or
We
their
can't hear
settings.
you.
Yes,
Try and check your connection, maybe your speaker. I think you have actually muted it. So if you have muted your speaker, there's no way you can hear me, because some people can actually hear me. All right, so I don't want this to be a distraction, please. Let's just try and proceed. If you cannot hear me, be rest assured that this session is recorded. So you can always refer to the recording session. All right. Hold on, please. Just a minute, please. Please hold on just a minute. I'm trying to fix something.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
yes, we can hear you.
All right. Hold on, please. I'm just trying to fix something here, please. Let's hold on. I'm trying to fix something. Okay, so can someone still hear me?
We can't hear you. Hey.
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Both of you.
Continue.
Okay. Okay, so this is so I'm setting this to 0. All right, so if I set that to 0 and I close the quotation, all right, so what I'm telling Excel is look at this course and return any value that is greater than, okay, don't let me set it to 0. I think 0 is too small. Return any value that is greater than 10. All right, so you can see that I'm putting this in the quotation. So whenever you are having a text, whenever you are having a number, okay, that is, okay, whenever you're having a character, let me put it this way, that is not exactly a number, ensure you put it in a quotation mark. Ensure you put it in a quotation mark. So
can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Oh my goodness. All right, so ensure you put it in a quotation. So we click on enter. So the COUNTIF now is selecting all this. So we are saying Excel return a greater than 10. All right, so we can see 1, 2, 3. We have 3 numbers greater than 10 here. So that's why we're having 3. All right. Can I still be heard?
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Wilson, continue. We can hear you.
Okay, so let's look at the. So let's consider the COUNTIFs now. So for COUNTIFs, COUNTIFs is actually looking at more than one condition here. All right. So COUNTIF is just one criteria. COUNTIFs is more than one criteria. So for COUNTIFs, let's take a look at that. For COUNTIFs, all right. So I have this. No, now let's just take a look at the analysis of the table. That's very important. Now let's now say we want to take a look at, for instance, Wilson. The score of Wilson, we are setting 2 criteria here. The score of Wilson, that is one criteria. Wilson is one criteria. In SFM, that is the second criteria. All right, so we are setting 2 criteria and we are counting the score of Wilson. So that is what the COUNTIFs is used for. So here we say COUNTIFs. All right, so the first thing here is the criteria range 1. Okay. The first thing here is the criteria range 1. All right. So for the criteria range 1, we can select this. Okay. We select this. Can you see this? Then I put comma. Then for the criteria, actually I'm looking for a particular student here, and that student is Wilson. So what I will do is I will start with a quotation. I will start with a quotation. Then I will say Wilson and close it. Okay. So I've set the first criteria, that is COUNTIFS. I'm selecting all these, which is the criteria range 1, and I'm setting the criteria as Wilson. Now, and I want to go further by saying, okay, what is the second criteria that I want to set? Now, the second criteria I want to set is I want to take a look at all the subjects. So I'm putting comma here. So ensure you follow the syntax. I'm putting comma here, and I'm selecting all the subjects. Okay, so I'm selecting all the subjects here. I have comma. Then what particular course do I want Excel to return? In this case, obviously we have SFM. All right, so I have SFM. So that is the criteria I've set. So I've set 2 criteria range and 2 criteria. I can go ahead and set even the third criteria. If I want to set the third criteria, I can just well say comma, still select all this, okay? Then put comma again and say, okay, remember you have to put your quotation. If it is just a number, you don't need quotation. But if it is not a number, maybe you are using inequality, like let's say greater than, this time around, let's say greater than 10, right? And I close it. Okay, so I return enter here. So what happens? You can see Excel is returning 1. And obviously someone will tell me, someone will know why Excel is returning 1 here. Someone should know why Excel is returning 1 here. Can someone tell me why Excel is returning 1?
Yeah, no, Wilson.
Because your score is greater than 10. So that's why it's returning. So the only score greater than 10 is 20.
Okay,
Exactly.
you did a modification, Wilson. You indicated the range and you specifically mentioned your name, or your name, which is Wilson, and Wilson having greater than 10 has a score of 20 with SFM. So your formula was quite specific. So that's why you had just 1.
Exactly. That's perfect. That's perfect. I think I have a lot of gurus in this class. All right, that's cool. All right, so that's fantastic. So the next one is sum. I think this one is straightforward now. We should not be disturbing ourselves about sum. So sum, this one is a no-brainer. So sum, that's all. So where we have a little bit of issue, and it's not an issue per se, is actually on SUMIF and SUMIFS. All right. So for SUMIF is for just one criteria, while SUMIFS is for more than one criteria. So you should take note of SUMIFS, especially because we are going to be making use of what happened here. Oh, sorry, I didn't define this sum properly. So we're going to, you should take note of these SUMIFS most especially. Let me highlight it with yellow, because we are going to be making use of this SUMIF when we start to prepare our financial statements. All right. Please, a minute, please. Okay, so you should take a note of this SUMIF because we're going to making use of it when we start to prepare our historical financial statement, and that's very important. All right, so let's take a look at SUMIF. Now for SUMIF, this is very straightforward. SUMIF. Okay, you have your syntax already here. All right, so your syntax is, first of all, select all the range and define the criteria.
Hello?
Okay, your syntax says select all the range and define the criteria. All right, so here I'm selecting all the range. All right. Okay, let's do it this way. I'm selecting all the range here. Okay. Then I'm saying criteria. Let's say my criteria is still Wilson. Remember, you must put it in a quotation. That's very important. Then you have your sum range. So your sum range is this. This is equally straightforward. So this is 20. So obviously someone knows why this is 20, right?
Yes,
Someone knows
yes.
why this is 20. Okay, so Wilson is still having 20. It is just a very simple, I don't want us to complicate this. So that's why I'm just giving a simple table. So the most important thing is for you to understand the techniques. All right, so I'm not actually, I don't actually support complications. Okay,
Wilson,
so
1 minute.
Okay, someone have a question?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing the index and match column there. I don't know if I came late. Maybe I mixed it. If you could quickly do a recap on it.
Okay, no. We've not actually discussed this.
All right.
No. You've not missed anything. We've not discussed that. So you haven't really missed much. All right. So here for some ifs too is very. Now the difference between some if and some ifs, I need to mention that is that some if we only look at one criteria, and some ifs we look at more than one criteria. Do you understand? So here we can say some if. Now I'm going to define two criteria for this function. Earlier we said just one criteria, all right? So some if. Now this, let me take a look at this first. Can you see that? So
No,
selected.
we are still with some if. We are still with some if. So you need to recheck the formula. It should be some ifs.
Some ifs.
Yes. Is that what you are working on?
That's what I'm working on.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I'm working on now. I'm working on some ifs. I'm working on some ifs. So here, some ifs. All right. So the first thing is, okay, actually I typed some if. Okay, I understand what you meant. Okay, I actually typed some if in the function. Exactly.
Yes, that's what I wanted to point.
Yeah. Thanks for that. So now some ifs. So we have the sum range. The first thing we identify is the sum range, and this is the sum range. All right. So you put comma. Now you define the first criteria. Sorry, if you define the first criteria range, know that criteria range is different from criteria. Criteria range is your array of names or characters or numbers, anything you want Excel to give out for. Very important. So in this case now, our criteria range, let's say our criteria range is all the names we have. Our criteria range is all the names we have here. Okay. Then we have comma. So what is our criteria here? Our criteria is, maybe I should stop using my name. Let me use someone else. Let me say Shola. All right, let me say Shola. Can you see that now? So that's our criteria range. So first of all, we have our sum range, which is this. Our criteria range 1, which is all this. Okay. The first one is cost, which is this. The first one must be the sum range, which is the actual score. The criteria range 1 is all this. Criteria must be in criteria range 1, and that is Shola. Shola is here. Is that understood now? All right. We can now go further and select another one, criteria range again. Can you see that? Now, criteria here, we'll say AAA, Advanced Audit and Assurance. Abi? So we have that, and we press enter. So what happens? Can someone tell me what happened there?
Yeah, so because the criteria that we are looking at is for Shola, so we want to know the score that Shola scored, taking into consideration all the criteria, and that's why we returned the score 40, because we are being specific for Shola.
Exactly. So that is it about count. So with this, we've been able to look at count A, count if, sum, SUMIF, and SUMIF. So that's simple as that. All right. So let's take a look at the index function. I actually have this here. So the index function is not something that we actually, the combination of the index and match function is can also be used in place of what is it called now? In place of the VLOOKUP. All right. So we're not really going to bother ourselves much about this aspect, because sincerely, for our financial modeling proper, what is it called? Our financial model forecasting, we may not actually be making use of index and match. So we'll make more use of our SUMIF, COUNTIF, maybe COUNTA, or any other thing. But let's just discuss this index and match. All right. For index will return what you have as an intersection between your column and your row. If you get that right, I'll repeat myself. Index returns what you have as an intersection between your column and your row. Meaning that if I select this row, for instance, and I'm selecting this column. Okay, so what we have as an intersection between what we have as an intersection here is 3. All right. So in index, we are selecting a range, a table array, and we are defining a column and row number. So with that, Excel is going to return a value, okay, that satisfies that syntax. So let's just take a look at this. Okay, let's take a look at this. Then let me take out that. So here we have index. Okay, now the first thing you can see, Excel automatically shows you the syntax. Actually, most of us actually shouldn't be finding Excel like that difficult, at least for some simple formulas, because we already have the syntax. It's just like the formats. All right, so here now we have the array. The array has been given to us, and the array is your entire table. All right, so you have the array as this. Okay, then you have your row number. Okay, so let's define our row number here. Let's just try and return what we have identified. 1, 2, 3. The row number is 3, and the column number is 2. The column number is 2. So what we have here, we have 3. Very simple. The index is straightforward. So you can see that is exactly what we have identified here that Excel is returning. Exactly what we have identified here. So that is for index. Now, for match, what does match return? Match will actually return the position of your value in terms of your row, the row position. That is what match returns. While index will return intersection, match will return the row position. You can see we have a simple formula here. In this formula, we've been able to define the, okay, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. Now, when you have match, you should take note of these two things. Either you have your false or you have your true. Can someone still hear me? Can someone still hear me? All right. False is used to return exact match, while true is used to return approximate match. Just like in VLOOKUP, if some of you were part of the class in VLOOKUP, you understand that better. All right. But we don't want to overstress that because we still have financial statement forecasting to discuss. All right, so here I will have my match. Now in my match, I'm going to define a lookup value. All right, unlike index, we are not defining a lookup value because we are only looking for an intersection. But for match, we'll define a lookup value. So let's say our lookup value is Mercury. All right, so we close that. Then we have a lookup array. Lookup array. So your lookup array is all this. Your lookup array is all this because that's where, of course, that's where Mercury is located. Mercury is located somewhere here. So that's your lookup array. And finally, you have your false. Your false is going to give you exact match. Then you press enter. So you see what we have there. So we're having 1. Why are we having 1? Because Mercury is in the first row. Mercury is in the first. Sorry, I want to. Mercury is in the first row. This is the first row here. So that's very straightforward. Don't let us waste our time on that. All right, so let's go to a more interesting part. Now here, can someone still hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
I
boss.
can.
So will you?
Okay, so let's go to a quite more interesting part. And here we want to look at sensitivity analysis. This is very important, and it's very important because by the time we start discussing financial statement forecasting, which is the next part we'll go to after this one, we'll be making use of sensitivity analysis. All right, so before I start, what exactly do we mean by sensitivity analysis? Now, when companies prepare annual budget, for instance, or they want to make projections based on their historical financial statements, they often perform sensitivity analysis. You know that when companies want to make projection, of course, they may have their historical financial statement maybe for the past 2 to 5 years, for instance. Now, based on this historical financial statement, they have assumptions. Is these assumptions that they are going to factor into the into the statement to make projections. Now, when they now make projections, of course, they need to do scenario analysis and they need to do sensitivity analysis. For scenario analysis, they need to get a worst case scenario or a best case scenario. Worst case scenario is saying if things go right, what will be our projected numbers? That's best case scenario, rather. But worst case scenario is saying if things go wrong, what will be our projected numbers? Another thing they will have to do is to do sensitivity analysis. So in sensitivity analysis, they are trying to say if, for instance, we are trying to change our price, okay, what would be the effect of this on our demand? That's a good example. Sensitivity analysis is just telling you that, okay, for instance, you have X as your dependent variable and you have KYZ as your independent variable. Now you are changing KYZ by 5% and you are trying to look at the impact of each of these independent variable on your dependent variable. So you can now say that, okay, based on this analysis, variable X or variable Z has the highest impact. Therefore, I should watch out for variable X, or management should watch out for variable X. All right, so that's just a brief introduction anyway. But let's take a look at example of how we use Excel to do sensitivity analysis. Okay, so what I would do is I've actually worked this out myself as an example. So I'll take it out and I'll also take this one out. So I want you to listen to this. It's very important that you listen to this. So let me just, okay, we are going to have these numbers repeated anyway, so there's no need for me to take it out. That would just be a waste of time. All right, so basically what we did here, this is what we have here. Let me highlight all this. So what we have here is our free cash flow. We have our weighted average cost of capital. In strategic financial management, there's a terminology we call the terminal value. So the terminal value is actually used to find it's used under discounted cash flow to find growth to perpetuity rather. All right, so that is an aspect of strategic financial management, and that's not what we are discussing right now. But what we just want to know is that we want to see how sensitivity analysis will apply here. All right, now here there's a formula here, and you should take note of this. There's a formula here. Okay, this formula is what we use to calculate terminal value, and the formula for terminal value is your free cash flow over your weighted average cost of capital, or your cost of capital minus your growth rate. Okay, so we have calculated it and it is 2777.778, right? Now, what we want to take a look at here in sensitivity analysis is that for sensitivity analysis, we are performing a what if analysis. Don't get it wrong. There's what if analysis. Someone asks you what's the difference between what if analysis and sensitivity analysis. They are not far from each other. Okay, it's just like saying X is giving birth to Y. What if analysis is used to perform sensitivity analysis, because in what if analysis, what basically you are saying is, what if X is 5, what would be Y? If X is 10, can someone still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so you are saying basically saying if X is 10, what will be Y? If Y is 5, if X is 5, what will be Y? That is what if analysis. And what if analysis is the same thing as sensitivity analysis, because they perform basically the same thing. Do you get now? All right, so what we'll simply do here is we have calculated this. So we're going to have something like this. Let me do this. There is something here I've done which I need to take out, otherwise something might be misleading to you guys. All right, okay, fantastic. So what I will simply do is I've calculated this already. I'm simply going to come here and say this equals this. All right, so that's the first thing you do. You have calculated your terminal value based on this formula. All right, now here, the weighted average cost of capital, which is the same thing as your cost of capital, this is your growth rate. All right, so what we now want to do is here we have defined the growth rate as 3%, and we have defined our weighted average cost of capital as 12%. Now we want to know, what if we have the weighted average cost of capital to be between the range of 8% down to 15%, and we want to have our growth rate to be between the range of 0% down to 5%. That is exactly what if analysis and sensitivity analysis is trying to achieve. We have a range of table values, and we want to see what the dependent variable will be, assuming each of these values form the input in our analysis. Is that clear? All right, so what we're simply going to do is we're going to highlight everything that we have here. Just follow me. This is very, very important. All right, so here you come here, you go to data. All right, now in your data you come to what if analysis. You come to what if analysis and you click on data table. All right, so once you click on data table, something like this will pop up. This is a dialog box. This is a dialog box for data table. It's very important you take note of this. Now here, can someone still hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so fantastic. So let's go ahead. So what you will do is, here you have your row input cell and you have your column input cell. So you have to define your row input cell. So what's our row input cell here? You can see that this is the row, right? The row is the cost of capital, isn't it? So our row input is this, which is 12%, what we have defined in our original table. Don't get it wrong, please. Now, after that, you come here, your column input. Your column input is what now? Who can tell me that?
It's 2777.778.
No, that will not be your column. Who can tell me that?
It will be the growth.
Exactly. Perfect. It's going to be the growth rate, which is 3%. All right. So after that, you click on OK. See what happens. You see what happens there? Can someone tell me what has happened? Or can someone interpret this table?
Okay, so to my own understanding, so I guess the figures gives a sensitivity analysis of between the weighted average cost of capital and the growth, if all assumptions are correct.
Fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. So it's giving what this is telling us is, okay, but not absolutely correct. Not absolutely correct. But can someone else try? Can someone else try? Can someone else try? Okay, let me proceed then. All right, so you are correct, but not absolutely. Probably I didn't get you perfectly right. So what this is telling us is, we are looking at the sensitivities of both the growth rate and the weighted cost of capital on the terminal value. That's basically what this table is telling us. So this table is telling us, is showing different scenario, different scenario, okay, represented by all this. Let me put this in red, represented by all this, which is the different weighted average cost of capital, and different scenario represented by all this, which is the growth rate. All right, so let me put all this in red. So Excel is now saying, what if we have 8% cost of capital and a growth rate of 1%? Then it means if that is the case, our terminal value will be 3571.4. What if we have a cost of capital of 9% and a growth rate of 2%, then our terminal value will be this. So that is just basically what it's telling us. So that is the sensitivity there. Sensitivity, that is what it means. It's just like saying in demand, in economics, we have what we call the price elasticity of demand. Is similar. So you are trying to look at different scenarios, and based on these scenarios, you're trying to achieve. You're trying to look at different independent variable, and based on the values of this independent variable, we're trying to see. You are trying to get what your dependent variable will be. So that is it. So let's take a look at another example. Or probably I should give this to you as an assignment, but it's basically the same thing. Maybe I'll give this to you as an assignment so that you can proceed. We can proceed with the other class. So what you're basically going to do here, I'm going to give you an hint. What you are basically going to do here is this. It's very simple. Here we have advertisement, we have price, we have consumer income, average consumer income, and we have autonomous demand. All right. So there is this demand plus sales that we have here is a demand function. Okay. Now, if I click on this, all right, basically the demand function here is made up of the autonomous demand plus the elasticity of the, if you check this now, this is W15. W15 is consumer income. And the coefficient of 0.5 here is the elasticity. All right. The elasticity of consumer income on demand, on the elasticity of price on demand. Okay, so we have calculated this. So what you are going to do is, let me just take this out. So what you are going to do in your assignment is, sorry, hold on a second. Let me take this. Okay, there's nothing here. So let me take this out. So there's something I need to show you here. Now for this, can someone still hear me, please?
Yes, boss.
Okay, there's something I need to show you here. Now for this, you can actually hide this 277.778. Okay, so what you will do to hide it is you come here, you go to format, all right, then you go to custom, all right, then here you simply type semicolon, all right, and you click on OK. So you've hidden this one. Do you understand? So you have hidden this now. To unhide it is very simple. Just repeat the same thing. Just go back, go to your format, then take out whatever you have here and click on OK. To hide it, do the same thing. Okay, go to this. All right, then come here. You have your semicolon and you click on OK. Very simple. So this is always the final stage. You always hide this because this is the input that gives us these different what if scenarios or sensitivities. All right, so what you are going to do here in the assignment, so you are taking this as your assignment. Okay, so what you are simply going to do here is assume different prices here. Are you listening? Assume different prices here and assume different average income here, because we cannot actually do anything to autonomous demand. Autonomous demand is a constant demand. It doesn't depend on income or whatever factors. Okay, so we can only change price and consumer income. So assume different income ranges here, assume different price level here. Now look at the sensitivity of both price and income on demand and populate it in this data table. So that will be your assignment. Is that clear? Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so that is it for that. So with this, we have ended our session on sensitivity analysis. I think that's quite straightforward. So let's now go to financial statement forecasting. This aspect is very important and you should listen. So let me click on outline. So I've actually created the link here. So once I click this, it takes me to the outline. All right. So here, we want to take a look at financial statement forecasting. And this aspect is important, so you have to listen very well. Let me do a brief recap. For us to forecast financial statement, as I said earlier on, and if you have been following up with the notes I dropped in class, it's very important that we first of all understand what the management problem is. You cannot model if you don't understand the problem management is facing. So that is the first thing. In the class, I did mention, in the previous class we had, I did mention the fact that there are basic standards that must be followed in modeling. And this standard is as defined by the um, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. There's actually a spreadsheet modeling best practice. And in spreadsheet modeling best practice, the first thing you must have is your scope. Okay, in your scope, you are trying to, the scope stage is trying to define what the problem is. What do you want to cover? What do you want to model? Do you understand? You are getting management briefing that management is trying to explain to you, okay, this is actually the problem we want to model, because modeling is actually used to represent real world issues. And based on that mathematical representation, we can actually do projections. All right, so that's the first thing, your scope. Then after your scope, you now go ahead to specify. Okay, you go ahead to specify. Now, in your specification is where you are trying to connect the dots. You are trying to define your dependent and independent variable. You are trying to see how do you represent this model, that specification. It's just like saying someone wants to build the house, for instance. Okay, you first of all have the notion that you want to build a house. Then you get an architect to design for you. That designing stage is your specification stage. Now, after that, you must have specified your model, then you build your model. So the building stage is when you actually do your different formulas, apply your different formulas, build your actual financial statements. For instance, if it is a 3-statement model, can someone still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, for instance, if,
Yes.
if it is a 3-statement model in which you have to build your income statement, your balance sheet, and your cash flow statement, you need to specify. You need to build. You have specified by determining that this is what you want to achieve. Okay, so building stage is when you actually design the template. All right. Now, after you have built the template, then you need to test. Okay, testing is to check the authenticity, or the, how will I put it now, to test the reliability. Let me use that word. To test the reliability of your model. And how do we do that? For instance, in balance sheets, that is not what, I'm just giving you this as an introduction anyway. For instance, in balance sheet, you know that, let me type something here. Your total asset will be 100, right? If you have your total asset as 100, then you should have your total of equity and liabilities as 100, isn't it? That makes your balance sheet balanced, right? Now, how do you test this? You can say this equals this. Excel is going to tell you true. That's a test. Or you can say this minus this. Excel is going to return 0. That's also a test. So testing is to ensure reliability of our model. Then another thing, the final stage in your spreadsheet modeling best practice is to use. Now, use in this case is actually saying you don't just, in modeling, you don't just print out model. For instance, you are the financial analyst of your company, and you have been asked to present a model. You don't just do that, present that model and send the model like that without speaking to the numbers. The model must be able to solve that problem you have identified. It must be able to speak to the numbers. The numbers must be clear. All right, so that is the use stage. So it's actually a circle. From the use stage, you may need to revise your model and go back to your scope, getting management briefing again, getting new assumptions, specifying new models, building it and testing it, using it. So it's like a circle. So that's how it goes. All right, so that is that. So let's now quickly take a look at this. All right, so let me go to, there's a place I need to start from here. Are you still following me? Can someone still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so there's a place I need to start from here. Let me just go to the outline. There is a TB. Okay, now this is a TB. All right, this is a trial balance. So what I've actually done here, I did a work back approach. And what I mean by work back approach is that I have, can someone hear me? I have my income statement. This is my income statement. Okay, this is my balance sheet. I wasn't giving the trial balance. someone still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
Yes,
so I
sir.
wasn't given the trial balance. So what I did was I did a work back approach to arrive at my trial balance for my income statement and my balance sheet. And that is why I was able to get here. Okay, that's why I was able to get here. And let's just try and do this together. You can see that all this is linked. If I press for you to know, okay, there's a technique I'm going to teach you here. If you are with your laptop, if you are with your system, of course you should be with your system. That's why you can see this. So what you will do is hold on control. Can someone hold on control? Hello, can someone hold on control? Press control. Okay, so I'm having cell F4 here. So I'm pressing control and I'm pressing brackets, the top bracket. So press control and press brackets. See what happens here. You see what happens? Once you do that, Excel will take you to the cell that is being referenced directly. I don't know if someone get that. That's very important. You should take note of that. For you to know a particular cell, instead of going through all the cells, going through all the sheet, trying to look for a particular cell that is being referenced, you can just press your control and your bracket. It takes you straight. Press control and press bracket. After P, the P key, you have your bracket. So press control and press bracket. It takes you straight to the cell that is being linked. All right, so I just quickly want to show you that. All right, so let's go back to our trial balance. Let's go back to our trial balance. Where do I have this? Okay, the trial balance. All right, I'm actually supposed to have a link here. Probably I will just quickly do that so we don't have to be looking for a particular sheet. All right. So I think something is wrong here. I've actually linked this up to something else entirely. Okay, sorry for that. So what happened is, can someone hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so what happened is the link I created is actually to another workbook. It took me to another workbook. So that's what happened. So the moment I pressed that control key and the bracket, I went straight to another workbook. So can you see the screen now? So we are back to our normal workbook. All right, that is where we have our trial balance. For me to make this simple, I can just come here and say, let me try and create an hyperlink. Okay, so this is for your learning. You should know how to create hyperlink. Here I can have Xenox TB. Okay, so what I will do to create the hyperlink is I have this, right? I come here and I come to hyperlink. Okay, can you see this? I come to hyperlink and I look for where we have Xenox TB. I click on Xenox TB, right? So I'll click on Xenox TB. I can just come here and take this back to 13. All right. So once I click on Xenox TB, it takes me straight to the TB. All right. I can also just come here, copy whatever we have here, and have it in Xenox TB. All right. Is that really relevant?
Please, can you please take that again?
Can someone hear me? Can someone hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Yes, please, I want you to take that again. Please.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, please, someone
Please, can you take that again?
I think
okay,
somebody wants to take
okay, fine. Someone is saying I should take the hyperlink again.
The hyperlink feature.
Okay, no problem. Let me do it again. So what you will do for you to actually hyperlink is used to navigate in a situation where you have like a lot of worksheets. Okay, and you don't want to, because a lot of people actually find it difficult to be going through worksheets looking for what is not lost. Okay, so for you to do that is I will come here again and say outline. All right, so I'm saying outline here. Now I will come to insert. All right, I will come here and I'll say hyperlink. So insert hyperlink dialog box. Insert hyperlink dialog box will open up. All right. So here now, you will now look for where we have outline. Place in this document. So you are placing your hyperlink in this same document. You are not creating another document, and you are not doing it to an email address or to existing file or web page. You can actually link your Excel sheet to a web page. So once you click on anything, it takes you to a web page. That is what this is used for. But that's not our business here. We are restricting everything we are doing to this worksheet. So that's why this is active. So what I will do is I will click on outline and I'm going to click on OK. So this is already an hyperlink. Is that understood now? So this is now an hyperlink. So if I click on this, it takes me to the outline. Okay. If I click back on Xenox TB, it takes me back here. So instead of navigating, I can just click on this. I'll go to wherever I want to go to. All right. So that is it about hyperlink. So as I was saying, now this is our TB. Can someone hear me? Can someone hear me?
Can hear you.
All right. So this is our.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, this is our TB. Let me also take this out because there is something I need to show you, and this is very important in modeling historical financial statements and also in forecasting financial statements. All right. Okay, so we have our TB for Xenox Nigeria PLC. So Xenox Nigeria PLC is a case study we are going to look at, and it is this case study we are going to use to complete our entire series lecture series rather on financial model forecasting, and that's very important. I sent a note, and you should try as much as possible. Please, once you reduce that background noise, no one is making a noise. Okay, all right. So you try as much as possible to always go through the material I sent and reference it. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this one out. Let me take everything we have here out so that we build the TB afresh. All right. Okay. So what we want to do here is now actually in practice, what we have is all this mapping that we have here. Remember when we were treating VLOOKUP, I made mention of the fact that in practice, we actually map line items we have in the GL. For instance, you have a QuickBooks, maybe in your company, what you are using is QuickBooks, or you are using any ERP you are using, okay? The ERP will not be mapped in a way that management wants to actually see your template or your financial statements model, all right? So what we want to do here is to see an extract, how an extract for instance, a QuickBooks trial balance will look like. Okay, so I've not actually populated the entire extract. So what I've just done here is just a piece of it, all right? Now, this line item we have here is the GL item, all right? Now, here we have our sales, and we have mapped our sales as turnover. We have our cost of sales, which we have mapped also as cost of sales. We have our office expenses, which we have mapped as selling, general, and admin expenses, SG&A. Now, the fact is, you may have more than one SG&A. Of course, you do have. You can have as many as possible. But the fact is that whatever expense line that falls under SG&A will be mapped as SG&A. So that is what all this is just trying to say. Depreciation, motor vehicle, is mapped as depreciation and amortization. Okay? All right. So that is it about mapping, and that's very important. Now here, we now want to work back to derive our trial balance from the income statement. All right. Now this is very important. You should take note of this. What we are representing here, everything we have here is a system format. Everything we have here is a system format. System format in the sense that it is not showing as debit side and credit side. It is showing as negative or positive. So wherever you see negative, negative means credit and positive number means debit. Can someone hear me? Can someone
Yes,
hear
I
me?
can hear you.
Yes,
Okay.
we can hear you.
All right.
I can hear you. I can
All
hear
right. So negative number means credit and positive number means debit. And at the end of the day, once you sum up all your values, it must amount to 0. All right. So here, let's work back. Our turnover here, for 1999 is this, isn't it? and it's a negative. So I put negative here, and I come to this. I have, can you see that now? Our cost of sales is what? Our cost of sales, of course, is positive, isn't it? Because it's a debit. So I come here and I select cost of sales. All right. Our selling general and admin expenses, SG&A, is an OPEX item. An OPEX item will always have a debit balance, right? So I will come here and I will select this. That's our SG&A, which is the OPEX. All right. So for depreciation and amortization, it's also a debit balance, right? So I'll come here, depreciation. Where is depreciation and amortization? This is it here, and I'll pick this. All right. For other income is a credit balance because it's a revenue. Revenue will always have a credit balance. So in our trial balance, it's going to be negative. So we start with negative, which is minus, and we come here. Where is other income? Let's look for other income. Other income. Where do we have that? Have I defined that? Okay. Other net income / expenses. So this is it here. That is 11.8. Can someone hear me? Can someone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay. So that is that for other income. Then for interest income will also be negative. We pick interest income here. What I'm just doing, I'm just referencing, right? Okay. Now interest expense is positive because it's an expense. An expense will have a positive balance in our trial balance. So interest expense is positive. So I'm selecting positive interest expense for 1999 historical results. All right. Now income taxes is an expense, right? And it's positive. So Zenot Nigeria PLC, income taxes. So where do we have our income taxes? So I select this. All right. Now dividends. Okay, dividends is positive. So I come here. So where is dividends? Dividends. So I have dividends here. Okay, that's it. So cash and cash equivalents. Cash and cash equivalents is also positive because it's an asset, and our asset account we have a positive balance in our trial balance. This is a current asset. So our cash and cash equivalents is positive. So let's look for cash and cash equivalents. Of course, that will be in our balance sheet. So here is positive. Okay, our account receivable, okay, is also what? It's also positive. Account receivable is positive. Account receivable is under our current assets, and it is positive. So let's look for current asset, account receivable. That means customers we expect, those we are expecting money from, our customers we're expecting money from. So those are our account receivables. Now inventories. Inventory is also a current asset, and it is positive. Inventory, where is inventory? All right, so this is inventories. All right. Next one is our other current assets. Other current asset is also positive. Other current assets is also positive. Fine. Other current asset is also positive. Now our property, plant, and equipment at gross. Okay, property, plant, and equipment. Okay, property, plant, and equipment at gross before depreciation is positive. So we'll come here. So where is our PP and E? Gross, positive. All right. Then our accumulated depreciation on PPE is negative. That's our accumulated depreciation. Okay, year on year we have our depreciation. So cumulatively we have our accumulated depreciation. All right. So accumulated depreciation, we select for 1999. Fantastic. So other non-current assets is also positive. Other non-current assets is also positive. So where we do have other non-current assets? Okay, other non-current assets. Other non-current assets. So these are our other non-current asset 203. All right. Now we have our account payable is negative. Account payable is a current liabilities, and current liabilities, liability accounts will have a credit balance. It will always have a credit balance. So accounts payable under current liabilities. Okay, I've seen it. All right, so I select that. Fine. Then I have short-term debt is also negative because it's a liability. It's a liability. Short-term debt. Okay. Then other current liabilities. Other current liabilities. I missed the negative part there. So other current liabilities is negative. Then long-term debt is also negative. Long-term debt is also negative. All right. Now, deferred income taxes is negative. Now, the negative, all right. So just know that anywhere we have assets is positive. Assets and expenses, we have positive balance in our trial balance. While equity and liability, we have negative balances. So that's just the basic accounting principle. That's what we are applying here. So for other non-current assets, can someone still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, other non-current asset is negative. Other non-current asset is negative. Okay, so I think we missed out a negative number here. This should have been negative. Okay, now paid in capital is also negative. Paid in capital is negative. Then last, that's not the last. Retained earnings. Okay, retained earnings is also negative. Fantastic. Now, so, sorry, this is negative. This is negative. Okay. So you observe something here. What do you observe? First of all, let me take out all this. Let me take out all this. Now, what do you observe? You observe that this is what? This is minus 70.4, minus 70.4. If it's a million, if you are doing it in million, that's minus 70.4 million. Negative. So what this means is that our accounts, of course, our trial balance is not balanced, because if our trial balance is balanced, we should have this to be 0 in system format. All right. Now, this is the idea here. Now, if you sum up everything we have from here to here, whatever difference is being thrown up is your net profit or your loss. That's very important. Okay, and your net profit or your loss will be your additions to retained earnings. Is that understood? Can someone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so that is exactly what we have. So if you take a look at your income statement here, you will see that the net income that we have here is 70.4. That is the addition to retained earnings, 70.4. Okay, and it's a credit balance because it's an income, right? So what you're simply going to do is to have that. Just have that. Equals. Okay, so you just pick this. You just pick this because it's positive actually. So we pick it, so it returns 0. Okay, so this is not actually shown as whether negative or positive. Don't get that wrong, because it's a profit statement. Okay, so if it is negative, it's a loss. I mean, if it is positive, it's a profit. So this is actually a profit. So that's why it's positive. All right, it's a calculated figure actually, and it's this calculated figure that is used to balance off the trial balance, and that is why you can see that this is now equals to 0. All right, so this is now equals to 0. So we can just copy this one down, and we have this. Okay, there's actually an issue here. I'll try and figure this out, but ideally everything that we have here should be 0, because the fact is, when I was actually practicing with this, there was no trial balance. Okay, so I had to create the trial balance so that you will get the historical movement of the TB. All right, so you can just as well ignore this. So I will probably look at what happened here, but because ideally we should have everything to be 0. So you can see that this is 0, and this is also 0 here. So that's important. All right. So that is what we have there for the historical balance sheet. Now, we may soon end this class. So, but before we do that, there is something I need to show you. Can someone still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So fantastic. So what we're now going to do here is, and this aspect is very important. Please, you should listen attentively. And listen attentively. So what I will do is, I'm going to take out. All right. Let me do this. Let me do. Right. So wherever you see green figures here, they are calculated figures. So I'm not going to touch all those calculated figures. So the ones that are green are calculated figures. And in financial statement modeling, that is the best practice. You should always represent your calculated figures in a different color. So anybody that sees them will not touch them because they are formulas. Do you get? So you can see that I'm not touching anything that is green. This one is okay. We can leave this. All right, we can leave this. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let me just take out all this. I shouldn't have done that. Sorry. Let me undo. So what I would do is, instead of taking it out, it's always best practice to retain your original file. Okay, you can just create a copy instead of deleting your original file. Never delete your original file. That's another lesson in modeling. When you are doing anything in Excel, don't take out your original file. Keep your original files. All right. So I have a duplicate now, so I can now take out all this. So I can take out all this. Can someone still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I can, oh, what did I just do? Sorry. Okay, we are fine. So I can take out all this. I can take this out. Don't touch the green numbers. Don't touch the green numbers. The green numbers are calculated numbers. The green numbers are calculated numbers. Okay, so I can take out all these ones. What else? Let me just take out everything. Do we really need all this? There's something I need to show you. So let me just take out everything. So what you are seeing here is, let me take out everything. So what you are seeing here is an empty template. All right, these are an empty template. And now what you now want to achieve is you want to populate your trial balance. This is your trial balance. So you want to populate this trial balance into this template. Okay, you have designed this template. And meanwhile, we are still talking about historical results. Everything we are going to talk about from this part down to this part, it can even be longer, will be projections. Everything we are going to talk about here will be projections. So, and that's very important. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead. So what we'll do here is we are going to apply SUMIF to populate our trial balance into this template. All right. So, and before you do that, of course, the best practice is you must have defined your template. You must have imputed all the numbers that need to be calculated and all the numbers that need to be auto-generated, because your cash flow is auto-generated. All right. If you can remember, I shared a note with you guys. I don't know if I can open. Okay, don't worry. Just take a look at that. I actually gave you a simple format that you can use to design any cash flow statement. It's a Word document I shared with you. All right. So let's have this. So we say SUMIFS, and please take note of this. This is one way you can have it. All right, SUMIFS. So what you will now do is, first of all, okay, so we have our TB here. So you select your TB. Now you add up all the ranges. Okay, these are all the ranges. So you have your comma here. Okay, so that is the sum range. Okay, that's the first thing you define. Then the next thing you now define is your criteria range. What's your criteria range? They are the mappings. The mappings you are giving to your GL, they are your criteria range. Okay, so that's the criteria range 1. Now you have defined your criteria range 1. What is your criteria 1? Can someone still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so what is your criteria 1? Your criteria 1 will be, you go back to your income statement. Your criteria 1 will be turnover. All right, you put comma. All right, so next thing is your criteria range 2. Now, what is your criteria range 2? You still go back to your TB. Now, oh, there's something we needed to have done here, but never mind, we'll do it. So your criteria range 2 is IS/BS column. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything here. All right, never mind that it's empty. We're going to put something there. All right, so you say comma. Okay, now you have defined your criteria range 2. Now the next step is to define the criteria, and the criteria will be, you open a bracket and you say IS. IS stands for income statement. You should take note of that. IS stands for income statement. That's good. So what you are going to do, remember in the previous class, that's why I told you that you should take note when we're treating referencing, talking about relative and absolute referencing, that it's very important because we're going to be making use of it when we start dealing with reporting models and financial statement forecasting model. And that is where we are going to make use of absolute reference here. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to make this absolute. All right. So we're going to make this absolute, and someone should know why we are making it absolute.
F4.
Yes, F4. So we press F4. Where is F4? So we are pressing F4 to make it absolute. Then we also come here. Please follow this carefully. Highlight everything here and also press F4. Then also come here, highlight everything we have here and also press F4. Is that understood? Now the only reference you will not make absolute here. Please, can I be given some time? I need to put on my check. I think I'm just out of power before my battery goes off.
Okay.
All right. So please, just
no problem.
a few minutes.
Right. Thank you.
All right, just a few minutes. Just hold on. I will be back.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so is someone still there?
Yes, we are here.
Okay, all right. Thanks for waiting. So so where did we stop? Okay, so so we have made this absolute. We've made this absolute. We've made this absolute. So the only one that is relative is B14. Take note of that. The only one that is relative is B14. And why are we making B14 relative? Because we want this column B, to be dynamic. We want it to change as we are dragging down the formula. For every other thing as a table, the trial balance as a table will be constant. And that is why we have made it absolute. I hope someone understands that. Okay. So that is it. If you actually followed up with the initial class when we did absolute and relative referencing, you understand this better. But you can always refer back to the video we had. All right, so let's click on OK. All right, see what happens here. Turnover is telling us, is saying 0. So why is turnover saying 0? We need to figure that out. So what we simply need to do is to check our trial balance. So we go back to our trial balance and see why it's telling us 0. All right. So here, we have our turnover here to actually be, okay, we have our turnover here to actually be well defined. So let's see what the problem is. All right, hold on. Let me go back. Where do we have that? Okay, let's see what happened there.
Mr. Wilson, I think the problem
All
is
right.
the
Okay,
criteria.
I get. We have not defined our other input. I get. So this is it. Okay, so here we have IS. Okay, we have IS here. Now, IS means income statement and BS means balance sheet. Okay, so whatever income statement value that we have, we copy it down. This is cost of sales is for income statement, right? All this is for income statement. Dividend is also for income statement, but cash and cash equivalent is for balance sheet, isn't it? All right. I should have done this earlier before actually putting that formula. So this is all these are balance sheet items, isn't it? All these are balance sheet items, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All these are balance sheet items. All these are balance sheet items. So everything we have here, they are for income statements, and from here down to this place, they are for balance sheets. All right. So let's go back to our. So you see what we have here is correct now. Can you see that? So what you are now going to do is ensure this is income statement for income statement. When you get to balance sheet, changes to BS. That's important. So what you're just going to do is just take this one down. Okay, you copy it. All right. Then when you are pasting, paste by function. Don't paste by value. Paste by function. What happened there? Sorry, something happened there. Okay, so when you are pasting, try as much as possible to paste by function and not by value. Paste by function and not by value. So here, I'll still click on this one by one. I have this. What happens there? Okay, I think this is not defined. All right, this is not stipulated in our mapping. That's why this is 0. All right, we don't have other income exactly like this. So if I copy this one now and go back to Xenox TB, where do we have other income? Where do we have other income here? Other income. Okay, this is other income, right? Then I paste here. So let me go back to our, you see what happens here. So we have the value now. The value is now being returned. You get it now? So we can copy and still paste by formula. Okay, we don't have it exactly like this. This is very important. SG and A, where is SG and A? All right, so we have that. So you can see that now. So copy, they must be exactly the same thing before you can get your figures right. So paste by formula, this is correct. You can see we are not touching any aspect that is green because they are calculated figures. Paste by formula, that's fine. Okay, do we have, I think we have this. Paste by formula. All right, that's fine. Additions to retained earnings. This is not properly mapped. So we can go back to our TB, additions to retained earnings. Okay, let's see what happens there. What happened? Okay, that should actually be correct. Do we define that as BS? Let me see. Okay, we define that as BS. So if I come here and say IS, all right, that's okay, it's fine. All right, so that is what, sorry. So that is what we have. That's what we have. That's what we have. So we've been able to populate our income statement based on the formula we applied. All right, so that's it. So for the balance sheet, it's simple. It's just the same thing. It's just the same thing. The only difference is here. Oh, what did I just do? Sorry for that. I think I copied a calculation instead of a formula. So you come here and you paste by formula. Okay. So what you're now going to do is to come here and change this to BS. All right. Then you press enter. So it's now recognizing balance sheet now. All right. That's important. So you just come here just like that. All right. You copy and you do this. And you do this. And you paste. Okay. So make sure these are properly. The reason why this is not correct is because these are not properly mapped. So for you to get it correctly, you make sure you map it correctly. So that is just what I want to show you there. So I don't want us to waste too much time. Can someone still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So what you can do here is, this is not very professional. This is not very professional. Okay. To make it more professional, what you can do is, instead of having your negative as minus in accounting, comma bracket is used to represent minus. It's more professional than having negative in front. So what you do to correct that is, this is very important. Go to your custom formats. Okay, are you taking note of this? You go to your custom format and you go to custom. All right. So take out everything that you have here and you say hash. All right, comma, hash, hash, hash. Okay, semicolon. You open a bracket and you say hash, comma, hash, hash, hash. Then you close it, and that's all. So you have your bracket. This is how your annual report will look like. You won't be seeing something like, sorry, why did I just do that? So you'll be seeing something like negative figure. You have to format this as well. It won't work that way. You need to format, you just need to format everything. You need to format everything. So you need to format the entire hash, 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 semicolon. Okay, you open a bracket, hash, 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 hash. Okay, fantastic. So that's what you do. That's what you do. So we are not going to complete. This is a long class, so we are definitely not going to complete everything in the go, just like this. But for us to end this class, there is something I quickly need to show you. There's something I quickly need to show you, and that's important. Now you can see what I have here. This is Naira, right? Let me first of all take this out. This is where we're going to end the class. So what we're going to do is, okay, let me see if we have, okay, there is already a ready-made one here. There's a ready-made one here. So what we're going to do is, we want to increase all this, we want to make it to be in billions, all right, in billions. So what we're going to do is, we're going to have, hold on, please. We're going to have, let's say we have, okay, sorry. Let's say we have this here. Something I need to show you. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's say we have this here. All right, this is not too much. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. So it's just an example anyway. So let's say we have this here. Now you want to increase all these values. All right. So what you're simply going to do is There are two ways you can do that. You can just have it copied in a new sheet. All right, you can say, let's say we are moving this, create a copy. Okay, so we have another copy here. Okay, so these, they are the same, right? Now here, we'll simply say this equals, okay, times this. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to make that 1 million absolute by pressing F4.
Okay.
So this is what happens. All right, so another thing you can do is, for this one, you can have a range of values to select from. And how do you do that? What you will simply do is you just come here, come to your data, and come to validate data, click on validate data, come to list. Okay, when you come to list, you can come here. Now you can just okay, before you can do that, you must have, maybe in a worksheet. Okay, in a worksheet, you must have selected, have a range of values. Let's say 1,000, 100,000. Don't do this on your main spreadsheet, on your main sheet where you are reporting your numbers. You can do it on another sheet. Don't do it where you are reporting your numbers. Do it on another sheet. Let's say 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 10, 1, 2, 3, 1,000. Then you have 0. All right, so you have that. Okay, so you can go back to where you have this. Let's take this away first of all. Okay, so we come to our, data. We come to validate data. All right, so you come to list. All right, so where you have your numbers, select everything and you click on OK, fine. All right, so here you can simply make this bold. Okay, then here, okay, you have your N. Okay, you have your Naira because there are different denominations here. All right, there are different denominations here. Okay, so what I can simply do now, is, can we reduce the background noise? What I can simply do now is, I created a copy earlier on, but never mind. We can have another copy created. We'll soon end the lecture. We can have another copy created. So we have this. Okay, so let's take note of that. Okay, so here we have this. Okay, let me just say 1 billion. Okay, then I say this. Okay, I come here, I say times this, then I make this absolute by saying F4. Okay, and I press enter. So I have this. So I can drag this one here like this. Can you see that?
Yes.
All right. Can you see? So I can take it like that. I can take it down. Something mixed up there. Okay. Sorry. Okay. I can take this. All right. I can take this down this way. Okay. Oh, I know what happens. So what happened is we should have referenced, sorry for that, we should have referenced another table entirely. Okay, please, I just need to show you this before I end the class. It's important. So the reason why it's not correct is we should have referenced another table entirely. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, to avoid confusion, let me just hide all these. Let me hide this. Okay, let me hide. Is there any other thing that looks similar? Okay, all right. To avoid confusion, okay, there's something I need to show you. Some of you probably must have gotten what I need to show you, but I just have to show you this. Okay, so what I will do is I will take out all this. I'll take out all this. So I'm referencing this, all right? Then I'm saying times this, and I'm making this absolute. So that is the idea. I'm making this absolute. Okay. So with this now, it works. With this, it works. With this, it works. So basically what I want, can you see it works? All right.
Yes.
So that is what we have. So in that case now, you can just do away with this by hiding it. You can hide this sheet. You can hide this sheet. Meanwhile, whatever you are doing here is referencing the hidden sheet. Okay. But what you are achieving here is that you are making this template, this income statement dynamic. You can change whatever you have here. You can come here and change.
Okay.
And as you are changing it, this will be changing. You can come here and pick 1,000. You can come here and pick, oh, of course, you can't pick 0. 0 is absolutely wrong. So what you can pick is 1. So we have to unhide and go and select the initial sheet that we did our list. If you can remember the sheet is sheet 13, right? So we change this sheet 13, we change this to 1. So if you come here, okay, so you can now select 1. So 1 will return the original values. This is just what I want to show you. Okay, I think that is understood, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to end this class here. In the next class, we'll now go into financial statement forecasting. We'll take a look at how to actually populate the numbers we have in the question. So try as much as possible to go through the question I sent out. I sent out a question. You can go through that question before the next class. I'm going to send further assignments that we work on based on SUMIF and all the Excel functions that we've talked about. So we're actually going to take this step by step. But the next class is important. The next class is where we are going to be making projections. So what we have basically looked at today is we've tried to look at the COUNTIFs, COUNTA, we have tried to look at sensitivity analysis. And I gave an example. And I gave an assignment on sensitivity analysis. So we also took a look at match and index, okay, and we taking a look at historical financial statement. So what we have just done so far is a reporting model. This is a reporting model is used for historical financial statement, the way you have your historical balance sheet. We've not actually started projections. Projections, before we can start projections, we must have assumptions. And that's where we are going to in the next class. So you should try as much as possible to attend the class. And we're also going to talk about financial analysis. So financial analysis is important for you to be a good financial modeler because you're going to be interpreting results and you need ratio analysis to advise. All right, so that's where we're going to end the class for today. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Host. We really appreciate it and enjoy the lecture.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much. All right, so Dorothy can end the class. So we'll have the recorded session we're going to share in class. We're going to have the recorded session. So this is an automatic, it's recording automatically. So that's it, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you can end the class, Dorothy. If you can